Do you think we should go all the way around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like a proper nest.
Yeah.
But then making sure the endy bits are
Nice.
nesty rather than
Blunt.
like that. Well, that piece can go at the front then to
Yeah,
curl
and
around.
I've got some even taller bits as well, like nice bits that we could even push in to come up with the teasels.
Yeah.
I think maybe if we make a conscious effort to group them,
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
so it's like a little,
Yeah.
maybe not even there. And so there's a bit of air in the circle as well, it's not
Yeah,
just...
totally. I really like it. I do, yeah, I like it.
I've gone teasel blind. I love that you really have to go out and really search for colour in winter. It's like a real hunt to find.
And then it pops up in the most unexpected places.
It does, like lichen. I feel like for this I was like driving around and like scouring. I mean, do that a lot anyway, but even more so in winter because you have to really look and you might just spot like a tiny one stem of cyclamen like by the road. Yeah, I like that it's almost a game. Like in summer it's like it's so bountiful, it's everywhere. British flowers are, you know, popping out in their thousands, but this is like a real challenge. And there's that quote, I don't even know who it's by, but it's like, I feel like I really stand by it, and winter is like really epitomises it, is that with restriction breeds creativity or something.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I agree. But there isn't even so much restriction because there is so much.
There's so much. But the comparison to like the abundant summer. But yeah, it's about changing your perspective, isn't it? And really
abundant in a different way.
Yeah.
Because there's so much texture. The trees still give so much of their interesting branches and the bark, and just because they haven't got leaves on, it doesn't mean that there's less ingredient.
And shape, because everything's a bit more stark. Shape is really interesting.
Shape was my word of winter.
Oh wow, nice.
There's so much.
Yeah.
I really enjoy looking at the bare trees, and then they've either got a big bird in, little birds,
like
or
the
they've
nest.
got the bows of mistletoe, which just look amazing, the circles in it, which you don't get when it's just a big bush of green.
Yeah.
There is so much shape. And then when it's frosty and you've got the bubbles breathing under the puddles, or you've got the shapes of the frozen
Ice.
droplets, the branches, which, like we've just said, you didn't see before. There's
like
more shape than ever.
Yeah, you're so right. It's like skeletal, bare bone shape, like, yeah.
Yeah. And how all the flowers dry, and if you've left your alliums for ages, or this lovely red stuff that you've...
Dock.
There's so many shapes.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone says that winter's really barren and bleak, but really, when you've got a limited selection, what you've got left is vibrant. Like if you had to close your eyes and then all of your other senses are intensified, it's like we take away the bold colours and then there's so much variety in what we've got left.
And it's about tuning your eye as well
Yeah.
to finding these different colours.
Even on
textures.
that, one little dying rose essentially, there's so much.
Yeah.
It's like the tomatoes of the summer, and everyone's excited about them being
There's
all
more,
different shades, but
there's more nuance to the colour as well because it's basically decaying. So that the decay brings loads of new colours and tones. I was kind of hoping for like a misty day because, well, not misty, icy day or misty. I feel like both give a really good, like clear backdrop that make, when you find that winter colour, pop even more. Like the ice here these past week, like was just like sheets of ice glistening all over the paddock. And then like having something like a rosehip against that, or even these hellebores, it's like makes them pop even more.
and also the crispy crunch would be
Yeah.
so nice, and the
Yeah.
sounds.
The leaves are good for that because they like spin.
Yeah.
Ones that weigh it down a bit more.
What a lovely day in your new studio.
Yeah, we've christened it,
We have, with
blessed it,
a really great installation. I feel proud.
a nest.
A nest, a winter nest, and we're the birds.
It feels very apt to make a nest when I'm nesting into my new home
Yeah?
or new workspace, and hibernatory, I don't know if that's a word, hibernatory winter, very nest.
With its
Nesting.
natural fairy lights of flowers, because when you do look up and look at those little narcissi, you have,
I can't believe you've been in a forest of 10 years and you don't know how to say narcissi.
it's one of those ones that just sticks
It's
and then
just-
you're
that's
with
what
it.
it is.
But and then when the light comes through these guys, they glow.
Especially the lighter ones, the way the light hits it.
Yeah.
Well, the diffused light of the late afternoon.
Our brief days of winter.
I feel the start of a year, I actually really love, because I feel like it's like fresh, new, and I know everyone's like, oh, we should start the new year in May, in spring, because that's when everything wakes up and it's the rebirth and it's life again. It's the start of life. But I do really like something about starting fresh in the quiet months that aren't yet like busy and like lively, because you're like fresh start. You can like be still while you feel into like what you want, planning the year and what you want the year to look like. And I always feel like full of hope and optimism at the start of the year, and planning how you want the next 12 months to look and what you want to do and how you want to do it. So I've been feeling very optimistic in the winter, and I think that pushes you through. By February it is a bit like, oh, I just want some spring sun.
Although we've actually been so lucky of our frosty, beautiful sunshine going through the misty sky recently, rather than a cold and wet January. It's been stunning.
I can't even remember the last time it rained. Like, it's damp, but has it really been that rainy? I don't think so. The frost last week was amazing, and there was even a bit of snow here. It felt very crisp and wintry, yeah.
I feel like our installation is like that because it's the bare branches of the trees with the little glistens of frost over it.
What with the chains?
Yeah, like the primroses and the narcissi.
Yeah, I really like it. I like how stripped back it is.
Definitely.
But it's super detailed, and it's like you really have to come close and look at the bits
Absorb
of,
it all. There's so much
yeah.
to see. It's a little story of building a nest almost. Which is your favourite ingredient?
I love the primrose. I think if I were to do this
Without me.
without you, or like the iteration of it that I would like the most is just the branches and just the primrose,
Yeah.
and quite a few of them.
I love the olive.
Mm.
The little olive and the big
Nice
olive.
to have something green. Like
If it was a
leafy.
different, later on in the season, or maybe with some like yellow beech branches, it would be nice to have loads of olive and just one other thing.
Like just all different types of leaf from different trees all over it would be amazing. Like evergreens.
Or roses and winding, trailing, climbing roses with rose hips too.
Yeah, wow. Well, imagine this whole thing, a fresh version, the branches being like rose trails.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Just
That
a
would be
nest
lovely.
of like very painful, thorny
Yeah.
roses.
You'd lose the negative space, which I really
Mm.
appreciate in this though.
It would be
If
more
it was
like
more
blobby.
exactly what we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier. I love the architectural visions in winter, and it may appear barren, but it isn't, because it's such a different look.
Yeah.
Like that tree compared to the evergreen
Green,
next
yeah,
to
it's so
it.
different.
What is actually more interesting right now? The barren one.
The shape.
Which isn't barren, it's just the wrong word.
Well, it just makes well, barren doesn't have to be a negative word, does it? But it also makes the contrast of the two trees together looks amazing.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
you get that thick, full, lustrous shape.
Which
against
is
the
so
skeletal
nice here,
branches.
that in your view you've actually got a
Quite
big
There's a few like
variety
piney looking things as well.
of trees.
Yeah, or cedary, I don't know what they are. Yeah, it's nice. It's such a nice view. I don't think I'll ever get over it. I can't wait to see it in all the different seasons.
Yeah, beautiful.
Take some
I
pictures.
wonder which one will be your favourite.
Autumn.
Ooh.
Imagine it in autumn. Ooh. Yeah.
I really
Winter's
like
good
what you've
though.
done here with the beading of chard.
Chard. It really makes it look.
Pops.
It really it does. Like you wouldn't think that was a plant. You would think that's literally like glass beads or, something more man-made.
It does look scrummy though.
It does. It looks like candy, sweets. What's your favourite ingredient?
I really like the olive. I
Oh, yeah.
really like the roots. I really like
Roots,
the
so
rose
good.
hips. I've really enjoyed them. And I actually love the witch hazel.
Yeah, that witch.
Maybe for its colour and its scrawniness.
yeah, it's like a scribble.
Yeah,
It's like,
which is relevant
and
because
you
we've
really
got all
liked
the lines.
The magnolia.
Oh yeah, I like and the lichen. You know what I really like about this is that from every angle, I've been saying all day that I've got different favourite angles.
Yeah.
But whereas most installations, you're either looking at it from the front or it's a cloud and you go all the way around, this has got so many different views.
Faces,
and even now sitting beneath
Inside
it,
is the best
I
view.
love how those roots from where I am look beautiful. And then back there was my favourite view, but it's just such an adventure going on around us.
It's a feast for the eyes, but in a very subtle way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, you have to look closely for the impact. Although I feel like it still definitely creates impact.
I'm really pleased with our shape.
And this actually, I'm super pumped that there's not a floristry mechanic in sight, apart from the wire, if you can call that a floristry mechanic, but that is the only piece of man-made tool.
The branches
equipment.
were great, weren't they?
Yeah, that was a brilliant idea from you. So I was just thinking like, we'll get some troughs or maybe cover it with some moss or something, but using it as the flower frog, brilliant idea, so good. I just love that we haven't used apart from our snips and the wire, it's all natural.
Yeah.
Which segues me on very well to my favourite of the season and favourite of ever, because I bow down to this man.
Wow.
I'm getting a giggle from the cameraman because we're also, he's also a big fan boy. Andrew Goldsworthy, who you will know of.
I know the name. Tell me more.
Well, he's just like the Don of land art, I guess.
Yeah.
And his heyday was a bit ago, but I remember learning about him at school. And basically why I love that we've done, well, love it anyway, but I love that we've not used any actual like buckets or vessel or troughs, because his work is always 100%, even down to tools. Like he sometimes uses a knife, but if he ever wants to attach something to something else, like he wouldn't use wire.
Wow.
He would always find some other natural material that he could make into twine, or like use thorns to like spike something to something else to like.
Amazing. And is he a flower designer?
He's a land artist. So and I think some kind of aspects of the floristry industry kind of meld together with that land art, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
And
we've just made a land art piece.
Exactly, we totally have. And he's my forever inspiration for all seasons, but the way he is my inspiration for winter is because I was recently-ish, a bit further back into last year, watching some of his documentaries where he really, you think, oh, to make some sort of land sculpture, land art in the lighter months, easy because there's so much around, but he sometimes, I was watching this one where he was, I can't remember where, but maybe somewhere Scandinavia, somewhere really stark where it's literally just like icy, like by the sea, like icy cliffs, stone, and he'll still find a way to make like this magnificent, shapely sculpture, and he does a lot with ice, and I just think he's just completed the art world for me, because it's also, it's like you're using just what the earth provides, but also it's so fleeting and so temporary, because he'll make these sculptures out of ice, like shards of ice and bits of rock, and then the sea will come, or the sun will come out and it'll melt away, or the tide will take it away, and that is just all part of it's just like it's the land interacting with the piece that he's made, and that just furthers the brilliance of the sculpture and the piece.
Wow, I love that. It sounds like the nature then takes it back after he's used the nature to make it.
So he is just...
I'm going to look him up.
Amazing, but especially in winter, because I just think to make such striking and like powerful things when it is so stark, which I feel like we've done a pretty good job of today. And I feel like we've used those kind of...
Hopefully we've shown
ideals.
that there is more around and available in wintertime.
You just have to look.
Yeah, there's so many people that say to me, oh, but there's nothing around in wintertime, there's nothing flowering, how can you do a wedding in winter? If you look, you'll find it, and there is so much to work with seasonally.
How do you find it? So when people come to you and want to book in over the like dark winter months, do you find you have to explain
Definitely
what it will look like there are restrictions and we have to work with it, and clients are pretty...
Yeah, I mean, they're one of two ways. They either get really excited about my list of ingredients, or they say, oh, I wanted sunflowers. And I tell them that I'm not the florist for them, which is fine. But yeah, the ones who engage with the seasonality always come out thrilled, because there is so much texture and so much variety and scent, and...
You just have to look. And I guess they feel like they've got a more special kind of an engaged design concept that's engaging with the landscape and not just...
Definitely.
I don't know, something they've seen online.
Yeah. Always going to end up a bit more original, depending on the weather, and just bring it inside no matter what the season. I love that we've made something so contrasting to autumn. I get that it has gone around us this time, so it's just more encased us than the autumn. The autumn sort of started in the spring. We almost need to make like a globe of tulips that we sit in, and it just gets nearer and nearer us.
You can't see us.
But it's different, and it's its own concept. Last time was more flower frogs, everything you can use. Let's look at the mechanics. This was limited.
Yeah.
And now I can't wait for what comes next.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I feel like it was more about the mechanics and like understanding how you can build an installation from not much, which actually we've done again here, but this is more taking those like actual man-made mechanics away. But yeah, I do like the
Manipulation with focus on.
Oh yes,
dainty,
you're right.
delicate.
Manipulating a plant into a different shape, like
Rather than
especially
just
with-
making an
especially
installation.
with the chard, yeah.
Yeah.
Like looking at a material and thinking, what else can you get from it? Like taking the roots off of the bulbs is a great idea. Like how else can we get a different shape and a different form from something that the raw material that we've got in front of us? Very clever.
I am looking forward to spring.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be nice because I guess in a way both autumn and winter, to start on those ones. Autumn, you're becoming a bit more stripped back, and then winter become very stripped back, and then once spring and summer comes, we'll be like, oh my god, there's so much to choose from.
We'll have to narrow it down.
Yeah, we'll have to like be more concise, because it'll just be like, well, especially in summer, it's like candy shop. Kid in a candy shop.
Yeah, so the growth of spring and then the abundance of summer.
I feel like autumn was nuanced. It was like very...
Ooh, I've heard that word loads recently, but I've not used it yet.
We're upping your vocabulary, aren't we?
We are. Nuanced autumn, a stark winter.
Growing spring. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Although...
I like how it's usually very intuitive. It's like, just get there, get together.
Yeah.
Things come out of just being together, like you thinking of this amazing idea of the... And again, all these are like just things I was going to burn. Like, keep a few of the nice tall ones, but all of this is just rubbish come back from a different installation that I was just going to use as firewood. So it's funny that in my head that was like, oh, that's just waste, and then you come in with this fresh pair of eyes and think, oh no, we can use that. When in my head it's just like, oh, that's just to be composted or whatever.
I love being a team.